Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the CouchSide Sports Report. I'm Simon, and I'm joined by the one and only Dylan Courtney.
Let's go.
And we're about to talk about sport once again.
Yes, we are, because that's what we do.
That is what we do.
That's what we do.
So how's it been, mate? You been
I'm
doing
good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, had a busy start to the week last week, but it got better as time went on. And I'm ready to talk some sport as always, mate.
Yeah, don't ask me about last week. There was a bit of a mish, but
Yes,
we got
it was.
there in the end and got to watch.
We got there.
Got to watch a lot of really good sport, which obviously we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely,
and
man.
share our opinions on stuff we're probably not qualified enough to.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair way to put it, but we're going to do it anyway.
We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, no, because it's our podcast and we do what we want.
Our podcast, our rules, within reason.
Oh, man.
So,
No, we love talking some sport, though.
what are we going to get started with today?
We are going to get started first with, of course, Aotearoa local sport with the Super Rugby. But before that, I've got to ask the people to do something.
Oh, no.
And that is follow us.
Oh, yeah, follow us, please.
We've got some, please, no.
Please.
We've got some stuff. So if you go on Instagram at couchside.network, you can follow us there. We've got a link tree there as well that's got all the rest of our socials, including the Spotify links and the YouTube links for this podcast.
And everything else.
And also, you'll find on that Couchside Instagram our other accounts as well.
TikTok?
Yeah, our TikTok, our personal ones as well.
Oh, yeah, on personal accounts.
Because we need help.
We need help, professional help.
No, but please, couchside.network on Instagram. Go follow us. Go into that link tree and go and follow us on everything.
Please.
Because we're going to be consistent, man.
We're going to be consistent. We're already, when this goes out tomorrow, I think we've matched the amount of episodes our first attempt at a podcast.
Oh, yes, we have.
And that took, I think, about 6 months to get to that many episodes.
Yeah.
And this is, 4 weeks in a row?
Yeah, man.
This has been awesome.
We are working.
We're working hard. We're just sitting down, we're yarning, and we get to, talk to you guys about the stuff we love. And it's a little bit more relevant than talking about the rise and fall of Hungarian football.
That's true. With that being said, please follow us because I'm sick of just my mum following us. So it's just our parent. Please help. No.
Please help us.
But the first thing we are talking about is some Super Rugby.
Super Rugby, and well, for you and me, it didn't really kick off with the greatest result.
Yeah, no,
in the
it did
world.
not.
Friday night, the Blues hosted the Brumbies, and it turned out to be one of missed opportunities for the Blues.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it. Like you said last week, key word, execution. It's just not consistent enough. And the saddest part was we put Beauden Barrett at 10. Vern Cotter put Beauden Barrett at 10.
Big Vern.
And he was playing awesome.
He was playing amazing.
So what happens when you play awesome? You fracture your hand.
Yeah, and I personally don't know the time frame on an injury like that, but I can't imagine it's short.
No, just because I'm going off my own knowledge. Broken hand. Oh man, you're looking at 2 months.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a fractured hand is not a broken hand.
No.
But at the same time, I imagine it's going to be for a little bit of time, which kind of sucks because he started that game really well and scored a try of his own too.
He was playing like vintage Beauden Barrett.
He absolutely was.
From 10 years ago, when he was on Nat Cain's team, which choked in the final against the Highlanders, who were an amazing team. I just thought I had to say that because that's what happened.
That's true.
But they did win it the next year, so, good endings and all.
Good on.
But no, Beauden was amazing, and I do have to shout out the guy who, on the starting debut, at blindside flanker.
Mr. Cameron Christie. He played his role.
Played very well, came in. I think Cameron Suafor played very well as
at
an
8. Yeah,
Anton Segner playing well at 7, and then AJ Lamb was having a barnstorming game at 12. Yeah. And then it kind of just all collapsed on itself in the second half.
Yeah.
We didn't score a single point. The Brumbies fought back. We just weren't executing anything.
No.
And, we basically allowed the Brumbies to score right at the death and not give us an opportunity to fight back.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I think I will say, yes, those 3 forwards did have great games. AJ Lamb is looking really good. Not going to call him an All Black yet.
No.
But at the same time, he has played fantastic.
Yep.
Although I do think the Blues have to start winning some more games.
We do.
Otherwise, there's going to be some All Blacks things going on towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I believe, especially with a Cantabrian as the All Blacks coach.
Yeah.
Had to throw that out there. But at the same time, I do have a question for you.
Oh, God.
Do the Blues forwards know what a ruck and a breakdown is?
That's a very good question.
I was wondering.
I'm not the person to ask here.
No, that's yes,
I'm clearly not the person
because
to
we
ask.
are definitely experts on everything.
Yeah.
But I did wonder that watching the game. I was like, and I get it because we do have players there, right? Like Cameron Sawfor, especially at the start of the game, fantastic. Yeah. And at number 8, he was really good. Cameron Christie played his role. Segner played his role, although I think I'm hoping Segner will be a better 6 than he is a 7. At the same time, in that second half, it felt like our work rate dropped.
Yeah, I think the momentum just disappeared. I don't know for what reason. You wouldn't attribute your momentum and your forwards dropping because your fly halves came off the pitch.
Yeah, I would think that's insane. I think that's... Maybe it's a coaching thing, although I don't think it is, personally. I think this one's on the players, man.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of, could say, the honeymoon from last season, really. And look, we hadn't won any Super Rugby title in, 21 years before last year?
Not counting our special win in 21.
Yeah, exactly. So... Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the Blues adjust next week.
Yes,
because our forwards, I feel like, do have to put in more work when it comes to the breakdown, and injuries don't help. But I think you've got to look at yourselves collectively anyway.
Yeah, I think if we add in Dalton back into that pack, I feel like that probably improves the work rate a little bit.
But he can't do it by himself, though.
Exactly,
which it feels like he's been doing.
Yeah. And I think you could kind of see it. Although for that first half, the boys did give in a good effort. So if Dalton is back next week and in the future, I'm slightly more confident of our forward play, especially if, you've got a guy like Christie coming off the bench and you've got Sawfor playing the same way at number 8 the whole season. If I was Van, I'd be starting him until someone gave me a reason not to start him.
Yeah, little diggers to do there, but
I wasn't naming names.
No, I know that, but we do because that's the real thing here at 8. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Blues adjust. But look, you're 1-3.
Yep.
You have to accept it.
Yes.
It's time to go and prove the team that you actually are, because you were definitely better than a 1-3 team.
And we have to do that. Because we've got the star power to be doing a lot better than 1-3.
Oh, don't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think we spent enough time on the Blues because we accept our bias towards the Blues. We are Blues fans.
Yeah.
Who was the game after the Blues? It was an afternoon game, isn't it?
Saturday afternoon, we were entertained, or at least I was,
we were.
Because the Chiefs lost in Lautoka to the Fijian Drua.
Yes, the Drua pulled it out.
They pulled it out. I think I tuned in from the second half onwards, and I think what they were saying is that the Drua were playing well, but there was just a couple of mistakes in that first half.
Yeah.
But they really just banded together that second half. They didn't make many errors. They were disciplined, and they were able to shock the Chiefs on home soil.
Yeah.
There's just, brilliant Fijian play. The pitch, though, was a bit suspect.
Yeah, that was atrocious.
It was.
It looked bad.
It was a bunch of mud. It was raining for a lot of the game, and I understand the conditions in Fiji aren't great at times. I don't understand why they're playing games in the afternoon. I feel like playing them at night makes sense, but I must not be aware of a reason as why they don't play them at night.
There's got to be a reason.
There must be a reason, because I feel like it probably makes more sense. But other teams have come to Fiji and won, who are better or worse than the Chiefs. So the Chiefs, they will take this one on the chin. They'll know we weren't good enough, and we have to put in a better shift next week. And they did have some bright sides, but the Drua were just able to control the game in their home pitch a lot better.
And like you said before in previous episodes, if the Drua ever figure out how to do that away from home, you've got a team right there. But that's the thing I was talking about, and from the sounds of it, the Drua and Moana Pacifica both, but the Drua more. If they have just a little bit of structure at the right time, I'm going to keep consistently saying this. If they have a little bit of structure at the right time, they are going to be dangerous teams and cause upsets like this. To be fair, this week was full of upsets.
It was. Yeah. But before we go on to the next one, I just want to say every time I watch Drua play, I swear I'm always entertained by Frank Lamani, their scrum half.
Yes, yeah.
He puts in all the effort. He's running, he's tackling. He's just
He's a workhorse.
He's a workhorse built number 9.
Yeah.
And I think he just complements that side so well.
Love that.
And he played such a big role in making sure the drill were in check and not, causing errors.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
I think he was really good. I was really impressed.
Yeah, but speaking of this next game, there was a few players we were impressed with for this one, mate.
Oh, yeah. Like, we wanted to go to this game, but circumstances arose, and we watched it at home instead.
Yep.
But Moana Pacifica hosting the Hurricanes, and we were delivered probably one of the performances of the season so far.
I would agree with that. It was a great game from Moana.
And the crazy part is they ultimately took the game and played better in the second half when their talisman, Adi Savia, was not on the pitch.
Which was madness, right? Because I know people are going to be like, Adi carries this team, all this type of stuff. I'm like, let's calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
These are professional rugby players.
Yeah.
And these guys clearly have some talent. I mean, they literally, look, I know the score at the end of the day was 40-31. Hurricanes made a very good comeback towards the end.
Yes, they did.
But man, Moana took it to them, bro.
God, Pellegrini from fly half was outstanding off the bench against the Highlanders. And he's shown that he can be outstanding starting.
Pellegrini was awesome.
He was amazing. And then you had KT on the wing, just like I said his name at the start of the season. And I think Dylan was a bit like, who the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, no, I didn't know who he was.
And he's just showing how good he hurdled Ruben Love in one of those tries.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was tough. And then the guy who scored a hat-trick. Miracle,
mate. Miracle hat-trick, mate.
Miracle hat-trick. He was barnstorming. The draw were just there's other players on the team obviously who played well.
Yeah.
But it was just they were playing some beautiful rugby.
They were
passing rugby.
Moana Pacifica were playing some beautiful rugby. That's the only way I can
running,
describe
everything. And the Canes, although I'm still impressed by the likes of Godfrey and Ruben Love, and I'm still like you see glimpses of hope in their attackers and backs.
Yeah.
Like, the glimpses from their wingers and their centres, and obviously they have some incredibly talented front rowers like Iose and Lakai and Karifi. But Moana just overpowered them on the day.
Yeah, they did. Moana, it almost became a game where, and I didn't think this would happen, but let's be real, Moana out-physicaled the Hurricanes.
They did.
And that's the best way I can describe it. Like, that opened up everything for Moana.
And it's not a hard team. Not an easy team, sorry, to outmuscle.
No.
Okay, so they've got some big boys. Like, you look at, like, they've got Kini Naholo. They've got some massive forwards
They've got some dudes,
Like, they've got, I don't think he's playing at the moment, but Elmore at hooker is obviously a beast.
I think he's still injured, which I'm quite surprised by, but there you go.
Yeah, I like Elmore. It's sad he's had kind of a bad run with injuries.
Yeah.
But the Canes will be a much better team.
And the Canes will just need, like, I hate repeating it again, they're just going to need to come back better.
Exactly. And I did say this would be a transitional year for the Canes. And
you did?
I think
it's looking like that.
At the moment, it is kind of looking towards that way. And that's not hating on the Canes or anything. They lost Savia, they lost Geordie Barrett. They've had lost players to injury. They lost Aidan Morgan. Although I think Godfrey's a nice player to have coming through at 10.
I agree.
We really need to be looking at our young 10s across the country and making sure they're playing well and they're being played the right way. They're actually getting minutes because, we're in somewhat of a 10 crisis. Say 10 crisis. We are spoilt for choice with Beauden Barrett, Damien McKenzie, and there's a high chance we'll have Richie Mo'unga at the end of next year. But after those guys, who do we have under the age of 28? Who we are confident is going to lead this team.
And that's the thing, it's the confident. And that's why I said to you, first of all, I'm going to throw this out there because we did have this discussion.
We did.
To me, Damien McKenzie's a fullback.
Yes, and I for some reason thought he was playing at fly half this season, and
they got Josh Jacob there.
They do have Josh Jacob,
who played very good for Taranaki and NPC, getting his shot well deserved.
And him with Godfrey are probably the two young 10s you look at right now, and you're like, okay, one of these guys is definitely going to be an All Black in the near future.
Yeah,
maybe both of them, depending on how the squad split is in terms of what they classify Damien. Does Richie come back? Is there a long-term injury to someone else? Obviously, Harry Plummer is going to France. He won't be considered anymore. Stephen Perifet is probably going to be playing at fullback this year when he comes back from injury. Maybe
I would think
at 10,
so.
We'll see. He might play at 10. He played at 10 for the majority of last season before Plummer took that role and was playing his best rugby.
And that's the thing, even last year, Pedofita actually played really good at 10 before he got injured, and then Plummer came in. You had to give that to Plummer. But yeah, you're right. There's got to be by the end of this season, and we'll definitely come back to this.
Yes.
I think one of those young 10s, Jacob, Godfrey, is it Kimura at the Crusaders? One of those young 10s are going to have to stand out.
Yes.
And I think that's when, as fans, maybe even the All Blacks themselves, New Zealand Rugby will look and be like, you know what? All right.
And it's a bit concerning considering we have lost 2 young 10s within the last year in the form of Fergus Burke, who was at the Crusaders. And I believe he's now at Saracens. And then Aidan Morgan, I believe, went to Ireland. I believe he qualifies for them. I'm not sure. And those 2 were kind of highlighted by people as, these guys kind of need to be All Blacks soon because we're not going to have fly halves and we've let them go overseas. Will it be long-term overseas stints? Who knows? But we need to really hone in on the young 10 talent and be like, okay,
I agree.
You guys need to be playing Super Rugby regularly, or if not, you need to be playing a whole season of NPC, playing your best rugby, and then coming back the next Super season and starting, because going into 2027, we might have a very old Bowden Barrett starting at 10, or he will be the backup to Richie Mo'unga, who would have played majority Japanese rugby in this World Cup cycle, which isn't the strongest rugby to be playing.
No, it's not.
Even though I love Japanese rugby. We just gotta...
You're not wrong, though.
We have to make sure everything is in check, because we don't really want to be lacking in the 10 department when historically that's been a very strong area of the All Blacks.
It certainly has.
And if you have a weak fly half, it can cause a lot of problems on the pitch.
So that's something we'll definitely look for throughout the season. Like, as we watch games, who are those 10s, those young 10s that step up and be like, you know what? Chuck me in the All Blacks.
Chuck me in the All Blacks,
because that, even if it's not this year, next year they do the same thing. Say less. So, it's going to be interesting. But then that's an absolutely interesting conversation there in terms of New Zealand rugby.
But probably a bit more relevant when it comes up to the July tests.
Yeah.
But although we haven't written this down, and we won't go over it in depth, but Six Nations had games this weekend and this morning. And we are playing France in July, and we were going to play a B team, but I think a lot of us were holding up hope that they would actually name the majority of their best players, because we want to see them play here.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we definitely won't be seeing Antoine Dupont, as he has torn his ACL against Ireland, and he's out for the next 6 to 9 months, probably.
Oof.
Apparently he tore it about 7 years ago as well, so it's not his first rodeo. He's clearly one of, if not the best player on the planet right now. And it's upsetting to see his season over prematurely. There's still like one more Six Nations game left. France are in the hunt, trying to win it. And also, he's got important club rugby games with Toulouse. Toulouse or Toulon, I forgot what one he plays for. Got very similar names. Very confusing.
to us, yes.
But, going off track, 10, we need to get that sorted out. And that's going to be an awesome discussion point coming into July.
Now, something that seems to be sorted out is Australian rugby seems to be sorting themselves out.
Yes.
At the moment. It was the game after this, was it Waratahs Force?
Waratahs Force.
Waratahs got the big win.
24-point win. The Force had been playing well coming up into the season. I know Tizano, their open side flanker, had been playing some really good rugby.
Certainly had.
This was probably a welcome to reality check. For the Force, and then the next day the Crusaders gave the Reds a good old wappling in Christchurch.
Yeah, they did.
The Reds were, I kept on hearing buzz about, the Reds are the only undefeated team or undefeated team left. Yet, they'd only played 2 games, they'd had a bye, and I don't think they'd played a team from New Zealand yet.
Us as fans going to be doing that though.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to say, you can't be a good team if you're undefeated but haven't played a Kiwi team, because we want good Aussie teams, and there have been good Aussie teams in the past. Man. But the Reds at their first attempt, a 43-19 loss. Yep. Will Jordan, Severies, both double. Severies is back to his best. And I think you'd have to admit, at this rate, he's starting for the All Blacks come July, and I don't think it's undeserved. I think it's perfectly deserved. based on how well he is playing.
I'm not going to say that because I want to see what he plays like in an All Black shirt.
Exactly.
Because that's totally different.
I think,
but yes, I get what you're saying.
We do have to reward players based on their Super Rugby form as well. So
yeah,
he will get the chance, and if it doesn't work against France, we'll see if he gets those shots in the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, that's
Considering
true.
we've got 2 very big home tests against South Africa where we want to be playing at our best.
Definitely.
Because we haven't played them at home in a very long time. We haven't beaten them in a little bit as well. We really want to play to our best.
And in terms of that, I still think a lot of All Black spots are fairly open as well. And it's only the start of the season.
Well, I read a Herald article today about how the 12 jerseys race is heating up, and they only named 2 players. They named Quinn Tupaia, who I believe we talked about last week.
Yes, we did.
And they did name the difference.
Oh, yeah.
But I was kind of hoping they would slide in a cheeky little AJ Lamb mention, but they didn't.
I still think he's almost like the game he had against the Brumbies, which was definitely a positive for him. I think that's got to be consistent.
And I have a feeling it can be.
So do I.
There are glimpses of AJ in all the games I've watched this season where you're just like, he's got something about him.
Yeah, there's something there.
Because remember, when AJ first broke into the Blues, he was,
utility guy.
He was an occasional wing guy, mostly.
Yeah.
He couldn't get ahead of Caleb and Mark. Not a lot of people could. Caleb Tangito had to leave, and there's been other players who
there's a reason Rieko Ioane went into the centres.
Well, he was naturally a centre as well.
That's true.
Beforehand, and he's always wanted to play 13. But also, he probably saw Caleb and Mark coming through and went,
There's some dudes here.
Centre, there we go.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm just... I don't know about Tava Nawai, man. I think that hype is just a little bit too...
I'd love to see him play for Fiji. But if he plays for the All Blacks, I won't complain. As because he's clearly played well this season. But I think, it would be awesome if he played for Fiji. But also there's other factors we might not know about. Would Fiji select him? Does he want to play for Fiji? Where does his intentions in international rugby lie?
That's going to be interesting. Like I said to you in a previous episode, I'd love him to play for Fiji.
Yeah.
I think the hype for him for the All Blacks is a little bit too much.
I just don't want him to turn into another Peter Gus.
I agree with that as well.
But Peter Gus was awesome for the Chiefs for a number of seasons. Got an All Blacks game instead of playing for Fiji, and then we just never selected him for some reason. He didn't play bad. We played him one game, and then he was gone. He was completely gone for no reason.
Yeah, he was.
And I just felt like that was, a wasted opportunity for him. It was clearly almost like a slight shade at Fiji. Like, we got your guy. We're going to cap him once. You won't be able to take him to the World Cup. He's in France now, and I think he's eligible for them this year. So
I hope he is.
Hopefully.
And I hope he gets to play.
Yeah.
Because he was awesome when he was here.
He was a great loose forward at the Chiefs.
Originally came over on a basketball scholarship too.
Didn't he? Yeah.
Madness. There you go.
Not the only All Black who played international basketball for a Pacific Island nation too, at any level.
Who's the other one?
Shannon Frizzell.
Played for who?
Tonga.
I did not know that.
He was a Tongan international.
I did not know he played basketball for Tonga. But there you go.
Actually, I might be wrong there. It may have been football.
Really?
It may have been football. Frizzell played for Tonga and something else at youth level, I believe.
There you go.
He did. Fun facts.
Fun facts.
Make
that a segment. What's happening next week in the Super Rugby, man?
So next week, our first game, we've got the Highlanders hosting the Hurricanes. Now, this is the Canes
big.
need a win. The Canes need a win.
They do.
And they'll feel pretty confident they can do it against the Highlanders, even though they've had some, success already this season. They've just come off a bye. I think it'll be a really good game to watch. Honestly.
I think it will be the Battle of the H's.
Yeah, I think I'll be in the middle of a little road trip when it happens, so I won't be able to watch it. But I'm gonna eagerly await the result for this one. And if you're not doing anything, I expect live updates.
Sorry about it. Sorry about it. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks, mate.
I will do my best, man.
And then we've got the Brumbies hosting the Drua, so we'll see what team continues their good form. The Brumbies came off a big win against the Blues. The Drua have come off a big win against the Chiefs. Which team gets to keep that momentum going? I think it's going to be a great game. The Drua have shown they can play better away from home this season.
They have.
So I'm really intrigued to see if they can keep it up against the Brumbies, who we know have played quite well.
And as a Blues fan,
yeah,
can I just say, come on the draw.
Go on the draw.
Come on the draw.
And then we have the Crusaders hosting the Force now based on last week's result.
You'd expect the Crusaders to win.
It should be a very easy Crusaders win, but hey, we'll see. The Force might switch it up a bit. And then probably the game, well, I think there's another game which the Aussies will call the game of the round, which I understand.
Yes.
The Chiefs host the Blues. Already the Blues have to play the Chiefs for a second time this season.
Man.
This one's in Hamilton. Look,
that's going to be tough.
Both teams are coming off shock losses. Both teams will want to get a win. I don't know what Damian McKenzie's health is at the moment, so I don't know if he's going to be in the Chiefs team or not. The Blues will be hoping Dalton's back. I assume Harry Plummer will be starting at the 10, which is fine. I think when he has Cole Forbes behind him at fullback, who I thought wasn't too bad against the Brumbies for the majority of the time, I think he'll be fine. The Blues probably shouldn't change, which they don't need to change. I think they just need to avoid taking their best players off during the game. Halfway through. And then the final game is the Reds versus the Waratahs, which is, New South Wales versus Queensland.
That's going to be big.
It will be a big game. Both teams will want to beat the shit out of each other. Not as brutal as Origin, but, it's a big game. It's one of the two original Australian rep sides. The ACT team, who used to be called the Kookaburras before Super Rugby, being the other one. Fun fact. I didn't know that. Before Super Rugby began, they called them Kookaburras. ACT Kookaburras.
I'm kind of glad they went to the Brumbies.
I think Kookaburras is a much better name.
No, it kind of sounds a little bit not tough. I gotta be real.
Hey, Kookaburras is a mean nickname.
Boo me, however you want.
I will continue to boo you for the remaining years of my life.
And I welcome it.
Briefly, Super Rugby All-Picky Round 2. The Blues found it a little bit more difficult than they had been. A narrow 24-22 win over the Chiefs Manawa, a repeat of last year's final. I saw a few highlights from this game. Good old winger
Portia Woodman.
No, the other one.
Oh, Caitlin Vahakolo, was it?
Yes.
Vahakolo? Yeah.
She managed to get past Ruby Tui for one of the tries, which was quite, that's a battle.
That's impressive.
That's a battle of the wingers there.
Yeah, it is.
Having those two up against each other. And then in the other result, Mata 2 are showing that they are probably one of the top two teams at the moment. They got the win over the Hurricanes.
Poua.
Because I pronounced it definitely wrong last week, and I was really embarrassed about it.
Hey, man, as long as you put in the effort to pronounce it, it's all good.
Thank you. So next week we'll see those two undefeated teams in the Matatu and the Blues face off in the South Island. I'm not sure where exactly. And then the Chiefs Manawa take on the Poua for both teams trying to...
Very good, sir. Very good. See what I mean? Just got to try.
Exactly. And they'll be hoping... both teams will be hoping to grab their first win of the season. Because, although it's a 6-game competition, it's going to be round 3. If you want that chance of, potentially winning it all, you need to have a win on the board by round 3.
Yeah, you do.
And
that's true.
I'm going to try and make it an effort to actually watch one of the games in full, because I always feel like a very bad sports fan if I'm not watching men's and women's sport, because they're just as good as each other in their own ways. And
yeah, man,
I can't wait.
It's going to be a good round. That Mata 2 Blues women's game,
that might be on.
That's going to be tough.
I think that's going to be tough, and I'm not sure. Well, annoyingly, I've just realised I'm not in Auckland this weekend, but I'll try and make an effort to. Even if I have to watch the game, on Sky Sport, in the middle of the night.
Good old replay
mode, bro. How good. Moving on to your area of X. Are we going to do this now? No.
Might as well, because you've started it, so we're going to do it.
I forgot. We'll go. We'll run off everything else, because I don't think it's going to take too long, and we'll get off to Dylan's he's excited for this. He was
super.
He was the first thing he put on our run list. It was the first thing which got added. Very in depth. But we're going to quickly talk about the NRL. Their first round concluded after starting in Vegas, and then The rest of the games being played in Australia. A lot of results here, but it's a common meme of sorts in the NRL that once you've conceded 50 points in the game in a season, you're automatically not going to compete for the premiership. Your season's over. And that happened to 2 teams in round 1.
Yes, it does.
2 teams. The Broncos put 50 on the Roosters. The Roosters are not looking good this season. And then the Storm put 56 on the Eels. I think the score was about like 48-6 at halftime. It was an absolute demolition by Melbourne. They are such a scary team. I said at the beginning, a couple of weeks ago, that they were one of the favourites for the NRL. And although some of my NRL predictions are currently not looking so great, yeah,
you can't be perfect all the time.
Exactly,
you know?
But the Storm are showing that they are one of the best teams in the comp.
I think that Storm, I know the start of the season, but overreaction Monday. The Storm, I'm still saying it. The Storm and the Panthers, I have an inkling feeling that's going to be. I'm not sure if it's the final again. Was it the same last year?
It was the same last year.
I have a feeling it's going to be the same thing this year.
Yeah, back-to-back Storm Panthers finals. I reckon it's a very high possibility. Also, the Sea Eagles beat the Cowboys 42-12. They're not to be slept on as well.
No,
they've got some very scary players. I remember not last year when we played the Sea Eagles, but the year before. The seats I was in were quite close to the sideline, and I could see Jason Saab. It's Jason or Justin Saab? Saab, nevertheless. He is a genetic freak. His legs, I think, come up to my chin. He's like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
Maybe even taller. And he is like 70% leg, and he is rapid. And he's he is so scary to look at. Like, I'm in the crowd, I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, how the proportions are mad.
Yeah.
And he's a winger as well, and he's rapid, and it just he's a scary. It
may be a guy I have to look out for in games, mate.
You might have to,
because this is I'm saying this, 'cause I probably sound really dumb right now, but it's not like rugby league's my thing.
No.
So I'm learning all of this. And I've also, I'm going to put this out there, I've committed to a team.
Oh, here we go, lads.
I've committed to a team.
World premiere, world exclusive.
World exclusive. I've committed to supporting an NRL team. And I think you expected it. And I tried my best to support any other team. I could have supported the Sharks, the West Tigers. I was thinking about the Storm. Could have been any. But it's got to be the Warriors.
It's got to be the Warriors.
It's got to be the Warriors.
You have to stay committed to your home country, your hometown, the team which represent the land of your ancestors and everyone you love.
That's a lot of crap you just talked there.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Everything I said there was valid. Did I say anything wrong?
Oh man, we got to get you to welcome us onto the marae.
No, I don't think I deserve any of that responsibility.
Oh, that's funny, man. But no, you are right though. That is our home team. That's our home country team.
Exactly.
I'm going for the Warriors, man.
Thank you.
And now I expect to have heartbreak every single week.
Well, we already get it with the Blues, and you already get it with the Warriors sometimes, although not really at the moment.
I'm committed now. I'm committed now.
He's committed.
But there you go. NRL, did we put the next round down?
We did. The other results were all fairly expected. We're not going to go over all of them. Yeah. Thursday night football, Knights host the Dolphins. The Warriors play their season home opener against the Sea Eagles.
Say it like that. The Hopener.
The Hopener. They have their Hopener. Well, they're going to need a lot of hope for this one because the Sea Eagles are a very scary team. The Warriors
they look tough that first game.
Not looking like how we expected them to. We may be pleasantly surprised. We'll see. But if you can watch that game, keep an eye out on Saab because he is terrifying.
Unit.
I'm
going to have to look. And
then the Panthers, massive favourites at home against the Roosters later on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dragons play the Rabbitohs, the Cowboys play the Sharks, and the Raiders play the Broncos on Saturday. And then we get a great Western Sydney derby between the Eels and the West Tigers on Friday, and then the Bulldogs played the Titans on the same day. So a couple of...
Do the Titans have a bye that first round?
Yes.
I swear we're this is here's my NRL knowledge. I'm like, I swear we're missing a team, but yeah, they had a bye. No, that makes sense. That's the team I considered because I do have family on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be the first Kiwi to support the Titans, so like, no, it's not.
I mean, to be fair, the whole Queensland is really New Zealand 2.0.
Yeah,
there's no other way of putting it. But no, I'm committed to the Warriors, man. I'm committed to the Warriors. ICC Champions Trophy.
Yes.
The Black Caps, man. We made it to the final.
We made it to a final. We bet South Africa in the semi-final, which happened after the last episode. And then this morning started at 10 p.m. last night.
Yeah, last night into this morning.
Was the final against India. For some context, I think I may have just, said this in the last episode. This tournament was hosted by Pakistan. But every game India played had to be played in Abu Dhabi because they can't play in Pakistan for reasons we're not going to talk about on the podcast. So India did not have to travel at all at this tournament. We had to travel from Pakistan, all around Pakistan, then to Abu Dhabi to play this final. I believe we traveled to Abu Dhabi before the final as well, ahead of the semi-final. So for some reason, I may have been getting that wrong. I'm not sure. I swear I read something saying we did.
Yeah, anyway.
But we took to India. Unfortunately, we lost with 6 balls to go by 4 wickets. Batting wasn't great in the final, but Rachin Ravindra was named player of the tournament, which, shows how highly regarded he is.
He's going to be good, dude.
He's already.
Well, that's true. Great. I think he has the potential to end up being a stud.
Yes, and I think we're all looking forward to seeing how good his cricket is for the next couple of years. We've got another ODI World Cup in 2 years, and hopefully we can make as good as an effort as we did at this Champions Trophy, which was an ODI tournament for those who weren't in the know. But it's always good when New Zealand are good at cricket. You always feel quite confident in yourself that we're good in another sport. And to have, a player like Ravindra come in when Kane Williamson is kind of getting into that point where, like, how long is he going to last being as good as he is? To have another very good batter come through, it's like, hey, not all hope is lost.
No,
and
we've got
true. Some other young bowlers coming in. I was about to say,
we have some young bowlers there too.
Considering we were bloody, very, I forgot what word I'm looking for.
Stuck. Let's call it stuck.
Not stuck. Blessed to have the likes of Santner and Bolt and the guys I'm forgetting about.
Tim Salvi,
sorry.
We were blessed for bowlers.
Blessed for bowlers, and to now have, some other guys coming up is reassuring that we're not gonna, fall to the doldrums like what happened to the West Indies, where they kind of just collapsed all of a sudden, and they're barely playing at levels they used to. But hey, we're not cricket experts.
I still hope the West Indies build themselves back up, though.
Yeah,
I'll
I
throw
love the
that
West
out
Indies
there.
as a cricket team. I think it's an awesome team.
It
representing all of those countries and getting to play in some awesome venues in Barbados and Jamaica and Trinidad Tobago, Guyana. Yeah, it'd be awesome. Like going down for I think sometimes Test cricket can get a little bit boring at times. I'm more into it than I used to be, but imagine going to a free Test series in the West Indies and just relaxing in that weather.
I'll tell you what, I'd watch a Test cricket in a hammock in the stands with a I don't drink alcohol, but a juice or something along those lines.
With your coconut.
Yeah, that's right.
With a little umbrella in it as well.
I think we're getting towards somewhere we don't want to go.
No.
But you are right. I would love to go there. That would be great. Yep. But before we move into the one that is definitely special to me, A-League.
Pretty mixed week for New Zealand. Not the best. The Phoenix season is over, if it wasn't already. It's definitely over now. 4-1 loss away to Western United. Not a great performance for them. They are 12 points off the playoffs with 7 games to go.
Yeah.
So it's not looking pretty for the Knicks, and that's not even Auckland bias talking. That's real life talking.
Yeah.
And their next game is away to 7th place Sydney FC on Sunday night. Sydney are hunting for playoffs. They will be in the form of their life, trying to get those points to sneak into the top 6.
Yeah.
So the Knicks might find themselves.
The Knicks are in for a tough one, man.
It will be a tough one. And Sydney, they have Douglas Costa and a bunch of other very good players. And then Auckland, not a great game. A 1-1 draw away at Newcastle. Newcastle were just all over us at the start of the game. Our defense didn't know what they were doing. We conceded an absolute banger of a goal to Eli Adams. He just struck it from outside the box and top bins. Can't defend that. Jesse Randall got us one back, which was great. But yeah, we had a red card to your man Verstrat. It was, he got the ball, but his studs were up. He collected the defender, the midfielder in that case, and got sent off straight away. But rather surprisingly, we played better when we had 10 men. We were attacking more often. We had more chances when we had 10 men.
I think that might have been a mentality switch.
I think it was
for us, and that's what I said last week is that when and once again we play a bad game, but we concede first.
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily like that's a bad thing, but for Auckland, it is because when we concede first, it just throws everything off.
It does.
But I think having Verstrat go off with a red card, I think it had a mentality switch. There a little bit. So 1-1 draw we'll take.
We'll take it.
We're still at the top of the league.
Yeah.
Is it still by 10 or is it by 8?
I do have it written down here.
Yeah.
We are
10 or 8, I can't remember.
Oh, did I forget to put it here?
It doesn't matter. We're at the top anyway.
It doesn't matter. We're at the top. We host Central Coast Mariners on Sunday night at Mount Smart. No, I won't be at that game. I'll be watching the Australian Grand Prix with my parents probably and my family.
The Grand Prix.
The Grand Prix, the first Formula One race of the season.
Might be something we have to talk about on the podcast as well.
I've forgotten to include it. I was like, there's clearly something I need to talk about, and I know 2 people in particular who are watching this.
And I know a lot of people at work as well that are big F1 fans as well. So why don't we commit to right now? Next week
we will talk about it.
F1.
And I've got 2 of my very good friends. They're big F1 nutters, and they listen to the podcast. So they're going to be like, how dare he forget about F1?
Well, we forgot, so what?
It's all the memes we send in the Instagram chat. I'm like, I'm sorry. But yeah, it'd be really exciting to see how Liam Lawson does in a Red Bull car.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari. What's going on?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season.
It's one of the few F1 races of the year where it's not at, God forbid, like 2 o'clock in the morning. So
that's
to make the most out of those and watch all of them.
Gotta go, blood. Gotta go.
It's just like, I'm not getting up at 2 o'clock to watch some race in Hungary and then fall asleep at 4:30 and wake up at 6:30 for work. Like, come on, let's be real.
This is fair, and I think a lot of people on our side of the world would agree with that. Would absolutely agree with that. Moving on. This is my one.
Dylan is very excited.
My one. So it is starting.
It is starting. This week. Don't worry, it's not wrestling.
No. Although I'd love to talk about New Zealand wrestling here, but that'd probably be like a random game of the week.
Oh, it would be.
But the NZNBL, the New Zealand National Basketball League, is starting up again for another year.
Starts on Wednesday.
It starts on Wednesday, and I can't wait. It's basketball, so I'm always going to love it anyway. And anytime I can promote the New Zealand National League, I'll do it any day of the week.
Yeah.
Because it's not like if for anybody, if you're thinking about watching some basketball, man, go and watch some New Zealand National Basketball League. It is some awesome basketball. As somebody that, I'd never call myself an expert, but at the same time, it's some really good basketball to watch.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk about him more after this, otherwise I'll kill him.
You heard it here.
That's not true.
Police.
Supposedly.
Hello?
Supposedly, no. So the NZNBL, they did have their pre-season tournament, which they called the Westside Blitz. Which gets played in Greymouth and Westport.
Of all places.
And I remember, guys, talking to my dad, because we went down to Greymouth 2016.
I've been to Greymouth too.
And it was pretty much, honestly, it took us 5 minutes to walk around the whole place. But I missed the stadium that they're playing in.
Yeah, I didn't even realise there was a venue in Greymouth. Yeah,
but there you go.
I've been there myself.
Yeah, there you go.
McDonald's in Greymouth.
And funnily enough, Simon, guess what team won the preseason Westside Blitz.
Ooh, what team won it?
I want you to think about it.
Was it the Auckland Tuatara?
No.
Was it the Tauranga Whai?
There we go.
Yeah.
It was the Tauranga Whai, which are my team, which I'll explain later. But yeah, so they won the tournament. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how the tournament actually runs, but they did win it.
They won it, so they must have played well.
But it's an exciting season coming up. We've got a new team, the Indian Panthers.
I'm really looking forward to this.
That's going to be awesome. The Indian Panthers are a team that's pretty much sponsored by Basketball India. So a lot of players they've signed are players from India, which I think is amazing.
I think most of the players are from India.
Yeah, not only for the league, but for the exposure in general. That's going to be awesome. It's also another team in Auckland.
Yes.
So there's 3 teams in Auckland. There's the Auckland Tuatara, the Franklin Bulls, and now the Indian Panthers.
They'll be playing out of the Pullman Arena in Takanini, which is, the perfect place to have a team which is representing India.
That is true.
Massive Indian population in that part of Auckland.
I hope they get some following around it too. That'd be awesome.
I kind of want to hope that this will be one of the most electric places to watch basketball in the country if the community get behind it. And also, just imagine the food trucks, bro.
Probably so good.
Imagine the food offerings.
It's going to be me.
It's going to be awesome.
We're definitely going to a game.
100%.
Trust, and we're definitely filming it. Trust.
Yeah, I think we have to go.
We have to go.
It's not.
I think we have to go to 3 Auckland teams at least.
Yeah, not the first time we've had a foreign team in the New Zealand NBL. Although the first one that did it was a bit underwhelming. The old Southern Huskies from Tasmania,
which ended up and turned into the Auckland Tuatara.
Yep. After briefly being the Auckland Huskies, that's probably one of the weirder Auckland team names we've ever had.
That is quite weird.
The Auckland Huskies. It's a bit strange. But you're the expert on NZNBL. You know all the ins and outs. Who's good, who's not, who's came into the league.
Yes, sir.
You want to give us a good rundown on what's going on?
So I'm going to do the best I can. So last year the Rams beat the Tuatara. Was it last year? Well, no, sorry. No. Anyway.
Cancel.
Let's cancel that. The Tuatara and the Rams, the Tuatara, Auckland Tuatara, and the Canterbury Rams. Funnily enough, Auckland, Christchurch. Yeah. You can expect those teams to be good. And most seasons you can expect them to be good. The Wellington Saints looking like a good team. They've got a triple. They've got a big 3 of their own. And Hiram Harris, Shea Ili, who was a perennial Defensive Player of the Year in the Australian National League, which is what the Breakers play in. He plays for Melbourne United. Awesome player. And also my height gives me hope. And at the same time, also Isaiah Liafa is playing for the Saints. So that's
all names I know.
That's definitely a team to watch. I would expect the Taranaki Airs to be a good team too. Yes. The Manawatu Jets were lucky enough to sign Corey Webster.
That's crazy. Corey Webster playing in Palmerston North.
Playing in Palmerston North.
Corey Webster, one of the best basketballers we've had in New Zealand for quite some time.
He has. And to be fair, the Manawatu Jets, at least for these last few years, as the NZNBL has kind of made a resurgence, they're usually down bottom 2, bottom 3. I expect that to change with Corey Webster in there.
I'd hope so.
And also to explain, I'm not going to talk about the imports. Every team gets 3 imports.
The majority of whom are American because that's just the...
That's just kind of how it is.
There's so many American professional basketball players where you can probably contact a few and at least one of them will go like, yeah, you know what? I'll relocate to Palmerston North for, 4 months.
Exactly. And then you've kind of got those mid-teams, the Hawke's Bay Hawks, very fitting name. They're a young team. They've got some young talent there. But that's going to be a team that will kind of you have to see. I'm going to presume they're going to be around the mid. And then after that as well, you're going to have the Franklin Bulls, who should be competing for top 6. So it's almost like a play-in tournament at the end of the year.
Yes.
3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, 1 and 2 get the bye. And then you got semis, finals. And then we get to the Southland Sharks, who are usually at the bottom. But, who knows what they're going to do. The Otago Nuggets will be another top 6 competitor up there as well. And then the last team I'm going to talk about, which is the team I'm going for, which is the Tauranga Whai.
Did you talk about... Oh, you talked about the Saints.
I talked, with the Tauranga Whai, because my cousin's playing for them.
Good old Cruz.
Shout out to Cruz. Yeah, he's playing for them. He'll be starting too. Looked really good preseason. I'm very glad. But that's going to be my team. Have to stay loyal to the family.
Exactly. It's the excuse you get. I can't support Auckland because of family. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. And also, I'd love to take you down there for a game.
Well, I'm keen.
And we'll definitely film that too. Don't you worry about that.
Tauranga is a favourite place of mine to go down to. So definitely taking a few trips there this year.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see the Tauranga Whai play in front of a great crowd in the Bay of Plenty.
Now, I love my cousin to death, and Cruz is going to hate me for saying this. I don't know how the Tauranga Whai are going to do this season. There are some really good teams there, so I'm going to be a little bit of a realist on that. But look, hey, if they play at their best, I don't see how they couldn't be competing for top 6. So, but that's going to be my team. Cruz, love you, brother. But yeah, so the NZNBL is going to be awesome, man. There's going to be some great games to start. The Indian Panthers start their first game away from home in Hawke's Bay.
Yes.
We get in the first round as well. We get a Auckland Derby, or I'm going to call it, because Derby I think of more as a football thing. I'm going to call it the Auckland Classic. The Auckland Classic, which is the Tuatara and the Franklin Bulls, who both, like I said, look like they should be in the top 6. At the same time, we also get the Southern Classic, the Otago Nuggets and the Southland Sharks. I'd expect the Nuggets to take that. And then, those are the big matchups. Those are big matchups. But it's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for you to hopefully get more into it.
I always want to get into the NZNBL. Funnily enough, when I was in Wellington, not last week, the week before, we were at Wellington Museum, and they had 2 old basketball jerseys on display. One of them being an 80s Saints jersey, and the other one being a 90s Hutt Valley Lakers jersey, which was awesome to see because I've heard about them. They don't exist anymore, but they, in the 90s, were one of the most successful teams in New Zealand.
They were.
So it was really cool to see one of those jerseys.
Yeah. And to be fair, the New Zealand NBL, before the Breakers came along in 2003, I believe it was, like, the New Zealand NBL was huge.
It was. In the 80s, it had a massive boom. I think I sent you videos about it from years ago.
Yeah.
When it was, like, selling out arenas across the country, and it's doing that now as well. It was a massive boom in popularity in the 80s, which you might be able to contribute to New Zealand getting progressively better internationally in the 90s. And then, obviously, our very famous 4th place finish at the 2002 Basketball World Cup,
champs.
Which is... still, I don't know how we did it.
Neither do I.
It was an absolutely amazing run. But yeah, I cannot wait to get into the NZNBL this season and
let's go
support probably both my local Auckland Tuatara and the Tauranga Whai.
Let's go.
I just have to. Just have to.
Go do it for the brothers. But yeah, man, that NZNBL league's going to be exciting. Something we're definitely going to talk about more. I guess it's on to the international sport, mate.
It is, and well, you can keep talking because we're going to go straight to the NBA.
Oh, we'll go straight into the NBA. Let's go. So another week of the NBA has passed us, and another week of Cleveland being first.
Yeah, and I want to say this one because I find this quite ridiculous that someone has been able to put up the scoreline. Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, this is tough.
How the first ever... So, for context, in baseball, there are 3 main stats. Points, assists, and rebounds.
Yeah.
It is very rare for a player to get something called a triple-double, which is when you have at least 10 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds in a game. Nikola Jokic pulled off the world's first the NBA's first 30-20-20, which is at least 30 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists. In fact, he got 31 points, 21 rebounds, 22 assists.
That's,
it doesn't make any sense.
What else do you say to that?
You just say, well, okay.
You just go, okay.
Okay, look, yeah, you're like 7'2", you can shoot threes, you can play, mate, you can do, just, you know what, mate, like...
And it looks like he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care. He plays basketball so he can get money to race his horses in the postseason in Serbia. He's one of the greatest characters in NBA history. He's already won a title. He's already won MVP. He's probably going to win more. He's not even 30 yet. He got drafted in the middle of a Taco Bell commercial in the second round of 2014. Nikola Jokic probably has one of the craziest archetypes in general, not just his like play style, which is obviously out of this world, but it's his personality, his upbringing, his road to the league, how he got there. And
let's just make this the Nikola Jokic appreciation podcast.
Like it's not even appreciation. Well, it is, but you just have to.
Everything you're saying is valid.
You have
everything you're saying is valid.
You see that, and you're like, no one's ever done that before. Not even Wilt Chamberlain did that.
No, he did not.
And he's held in such high regard by.
But let's be real. It's not like Wilt Chamberlain really passed the ball.
Well, yeah, and how do we still not have video proof of his 100 points?
Yeah.
It is...
That's madness.
Yeah. Where's the footage? Like, I know there's been validation over the years, but come on. We just want to watch Wilt score 100.
Yeah, and I think also this brings up another point I'm going to throw out there too in terms of us basketball fans. It's very easy for us as basketball fans, and sports fans in general, to put one person on a pedestal and everybody else is crap.
Yeah.
Let's be real. We're not playing in the NBA.
No.
We're not playing Super Rugby.
No.
We're not in the NFL. We're not in the NRL.
We're not in the NZNBL either.
These guys, no, we're not. So, it's not, we've got to appreciate greatness when we see it. There are some great players there right now. They just released the latest NBA MVP voting. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is first, which I think is well deserved.
Good old Shai.
Guess who's fifth?
Who's fifth?
40-year-old LeBron James.
Sunshine.
LeBron.
My ray of sunshine. He's another player.
As a Raptors fan, your ray of sunshine for sure.
Yeah, LeBronto. Memories.
Yeah, man.
But he's another player. You like look at him go. Look at LeBron.
Like 40 years old. That does not happen.
No, it
doesn't. That does not happen.
Like I know Kareem played for a while, but
he did not like this though.
No, and players have played. I think at an older age, but my God, like
man,
LeBron,
tough.
How? Like, do you have special like superhero like serum or something that?
I reckon he does.
You reckon he does?
Yeah. And it's supposedly called steroids. No.
Do not accuse my king of taking roids.
LeBron. That's been all over my TikTok.
Oh, yeah. LeBron.
Bring R&B back. And also on that MVP voting list, guess who was number 8?
Who was number 8?
36-year-old Steph Curry.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kevin Durant for some reason.
No.
Steph Curry.
36-year-old Steph Curry,
he's still
man.
Hooping.
He's a hoop man. And I'll say this because it's my Warriors. We are now 11-2 with Butler on the team.
Wow.
Technically 10-1. Sorry, 11. Sorry, it's either 10 or 11-1. I can't remember which one. But they are the sixth seed at the moment, and unfortunately, probably because of their own doing, of one guy's doing, the Mavericks are in the 10th seed. That 10th seed is quickly dropping off.
Yeah, that's a bit of a yikes.
Yeah.
Because obviously Kyrie Irving is out for the rest of the season now.
Yep, with the torn ACL.
That was one of your points.
Kyrie, get better, my man.
Terrible injury to have.
The Mavericks are just going through injuries right now. So we're in one of their last games. They had 7 players. So it's just tough them. I hate seeing that too because Klay Thompson's on the Mavericks too. I hate seeing that
when
for
you're
him.
Splash Bros, when you're pride and joys.
But yeah, I mean the Warriors at the moment I think are 3 games out of the 5th seed, which from the Rockets, which is insane.
That is
to think about because I'm pretty sure we were as low as 12th before Jimmy Butler came along.
Yeah, it wasn't looking great.
But still, there's
a
half game between the Warriors and the Timberwolves, so that's 6th and 7th seed. That's going to be huge. 8th and 9th are close as well. It's still a close race there, man.
Speaking of that Western Conference, the Lakers have won 8 straight. So
the Lakers are second.
The Lakers have just rocketed up, and we did touch it. You know how him and Luka on you look at stats and it doesn't look amazing, but they're
winning, man. Who cares?
And this and I think it was the first episode of this podcast. The trade had happened 2 weeks previously, and I was still like, "What are you doing, Dallas? Why would you do this?" I think a lot of people are on the fence,
very good for Dallas right now.
Oh no, they had some genuine reasons to do it and whatnot, but no, you traded away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, and it's just biting you on the ass. And it's crazy to think that they traded Luka. Why would you trade Luka? It's Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I agree.
I still don't even know how he wasn't picked first in 2018. He should have been the unanimous first pick in that draft.
Yeah, but it's and I'm gonna I hate putting it this way, but I am gonna say it. The NBA is absolutely American, and you can see the attitude that American media players,
some of the former NBA players.
Towards,
oh God, I'm not going to name names. So you know who I'm talking about. I think any European player, he just absolutely slams for no good reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Although his name sounds very European.
That's true. I never thought about it that way, but there you go.
Yeah. It's up to you to decide who that is.
It's like we're in a kid's TV show. Do you know who it is?
Do you know who it is? The point at the screen.
Just go.
It's like.
Just can you hear that? Oh, you stuffed it up.
Can you say where's the map?
This is true, but yes, the NBA, man, it's coming down to the wire for a lot of
looking
things.
Forward
it's
to
going to be
seeing
awesome.
how this shapes up, and
also we'll definitely be doing playoff brackets.
Yes, when it gets to
when the NBA gets to that point.
Also, forgot to mention this to you today, but I assume we have to do it soon. We have to do a bloody March Madness bracket.
That's a lot, though.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Even if we don't talk about it in depth on the podcast, just say who we think's going to win, who he's going to make the four. And even though I know jack about college basketball this season, it's always so fun doing a March Madness bracket.
It is. It's become like a culture thing.
You just have to do it. You just look at all the numbers and you're like, okay, the first beats 16 and 2 beats 15 and maybe 14 beats 3 this time.
Yeah.
And you see all of the random schools you never heard of, like when an Oral Roberts or a Colgate or a Butler or just one of those random.
Who was that?
Schools.
Was it St. Peter's?
St. Peter's,
yeah man.
No, St. Mary's.
St. Mary. Yeah, like I'll be honest with you, anytime March Madness comes along, I just go for the team that's a low seed that's up there and shouldn't be up there.
Or any team with a Kiwi.
Yeah.
Like when
this is true.
When Virginia had Jack Salt, it was like, yo, Virginia.
That's true.
Come on.
Virginia have another Kiwi now, though.
They do?
Yeah, Tane Murray.
Tane Murray, and a few teams have Kiwis spotted across D1 basketball.
True
which
that.
Which is always good to see. What school was Cruz at? I forgot.
So Cruz was at the University of South Dakota.
South Dakota.
And there is a connection there. So shout out to the Coyotes, by the way.
The Coyotes.
Yeah. The interesting thing was, so their conference is called the Summit League. College sport in America in general is one of the hardest things to follow ever.
I think we genuinely might need to do an episode where we just only explain how it works.
Honestly.
And because they have conferences and they all used to be regional. I mean, American football and their TV deals were like, no, this East Coast conference is going to have teams from Los Angeles because we need the money.
I'm like,
and it's so.
Anyway, we'll make that even a short episode. We'll just do it.
It might just be a YouTube feature.
Yeah, but anyway, so he played at the University of South Dakota. Shout out the Coyotes. In the Summit League.
Coyotes.
That's what the but they call it Coyotes. And
do they actually call it the Coyotes?
They actually call it the Coyotes.
Oh my bad. I thought you were just
mispronouncing
for the sake
Don't
of
worry,
it.
when Cruz first went there, we figured that out real quick.
Oh, yeah.
But no, they call them the Coyotes. I'm not sure why, but hey. But so they are in the Summit League.
Yes.
Funnily enough, guess what other team is in the Summit League? It's a team you just mentioned that went on a big run.
Oh, yeah. Was it Oral Roberts?
It is Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts.
And I remember when they made that run because Cruz played against that team.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I'm not sure if he's still at Oral Roberts now or he's going towards the draft. But they had a player who was their best player, point guard. Hopefully I'm not saying his last name right, but I think it was Max Abmas or something along those lines. Max, respect, because he was awesome.
Yeah.
And he was a big reason for that. But that's a little connection there. So he played against that team a lot.
Yeah.
That team was always mean. And South Dakota State was a great team too until their best player ended up going to Creighton. Yeah.
Good old basketball schools.
Baylor Shireman. I think he might actually be either NBA or G League right now.
Awesome.
But there you go. There's a little connection there. But yes, our point stands. College sport in America is some of the hardest sport to follow.
When college football comes back, because I love college football. We're gonna be on there and we're gonna be explaining what a power conference is and what a non-conference game is and what FBS versus FCS.
That's tough.
And the playoff, which obviously got expanded last season from 4 to 12 teams, and that caused a whole lot of shenanigans, and how they pick teams based on a poll in 2025.
Yeah, it's
and
I hope you can hear our frustration.
And teams can claim a national championship for no reason, and it
man.
my head.
America, you do what you do.
America, bro. Okay.
Speaking of America, though, before we get into our big international sport for the week,
yes,
we do have some NRL. I was about to say NRL. Whoa. Some NFL free agency
NFL
stuff
recap,
to go over. So I'm pretty sure it was day 1 today.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It was day 1, and man, the NFL admin on social media, praise to you, because there was a lot to go through.
Oh, absolutely. The money gets more and more ridiculous. Yeah. And speaking of one of the MVPs of the season and one of the best players on the team, which won it all, Saquon Barkley signing the largest contract for a running back ever, staying with the Eagles, which is obviously the smartest thing
Makes
to do,
sense.
earning a whopping $41.2 million over 2 seasons. So that's over $20 million a year for a running back.
Where's our extension?
Yeah.
Hey,
Philadelphia Eagles. I've never been to Philadelphia. He supports the Steelers, but you should give us $40 million. Like, I feel like it's a fair trade.
Yeah, fair. Myles Garrett also signed huge after requesting a trade from the Browns.
It was a public request. Put the Instagram post and everything saying, like, I know I'm going to be a Hall of Famer, but I want to win Super Bowls, which was tough, and then he stays with the Browns.
Doing that at the Browns.
Yeah, at the Cleveland Browns.
I as a Steelers fan, it's really the front of my mind, really hoped he got traded, because he's not better than TJ Watt, but he is a fantastic player.
I was kind of hoping he got put on a contender, because he's been so good since the day he got drafted, and clearly deserves to be on a better ran team, and a team which doesn't give a boatload of money to who. I'm not going to expand on that. But money. I understand why he stayed. The amount of money
I agree with
isn't
that.
It like close to $40 million a year?
I'm not sure what the guaranteed was, but because the contracts are very weird, especially in the NFL.
American sports. Don't ask us. It's very confusing.
But NFL contracts, like, there's guaranteed money, but it's not necessarily what you see on the contract itself, which for a sport like that makes sense.
Yes.
But also at the same time, it gets really confusing, because you'll see somebody sign for a big number, but then look at the guaranteed money and you're like, what? But a lot of that is added up by bonuses, which is kind of
Are they all, a lot of them incentive-based?
Like, a lot of them are incentive-based, especially.
Just wait till baseball kicks off, bro. That makes it...
baseball different.
Baseball money.
Baseball different. With that being said, speaking of money, there was an even bigger contract signed by the MVP this year. Do you want to say it?
Josh Allen. He's one of the, although he didn't win a Super Bowl,
he's winning right now.
He's winning. He's engaged to Haley Steinfeld. He's living life. He's MVP.
Facts.
And he's getting paid $330 million over 6 years.
Now,
$250 million is guaranteed, which is the majority of that, and that is insane money.
Buffalo. I'm a Steelers fan.
Hey, Buffalo. I love the state of New York. Please. I love Niagara Falls. I've never been there, but I love it. Can I have some money? Josh, if you're listening, I'm happy you're engaged. Congratulations, man. Can I have some money, please?
Big facts. But
I just want to own a house in my life.
$250 million guaranteed over 6 years.
Like, he deserves it.
You do the maths.
He deserves it.
Absolutely does.
But it's such insane
money.
He
took this Buffalo Bills team, minus Stephon Diggs, to the conference championship. Like, that's tough.
He's just a great player.
I hope he wins the Super Bowl at some point, man.
I mean, the Bills, they've been aching for a Super Bowl. They went in the 90s. They went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost every single one. So they are a team who, they need that success.
Yeah, man. And to be fair, even though they're in the Steelers conference, I do hope they get it. Just not at the Steelers' expense.
No.
But speaking of Steelers, that was the big thing, and the Steelers
for you.
So yeah, for me. No, so I'm going to explain a little bit here as well, because for I would say 20 years or so, we had Kevin Colbert as our general manager. He was awesome, built some great teams, but he was known for being very conservative. Yes. And the next guy we got him, which is Omar Khan, or his nickname is the Khan Artist. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. He has come out of the gates, and he's been making some trades, man.
It's just wheeling dealing.
Yeah, so this is another one of those. We have traded for DK Metcalf from the Seahawks,
beast,
who is a beast at wide receiver. But I will say, and NFL fans will know this when I say this, we now have DK Metcalf and George Pickens on the same team.
If you don't know who George Pickens is, there's a video of when he got drafted, and he is just standing in front of the TV, slouched down with a shiesty on, nodding at the TV as they announced he got picked. Like everyone's like, he's saying, "Yeah, you picked me."
Yeah. And to be fair, he has proven that he has the potential to be a dude at wide receiver.
Well, one of my good friends who's a big NFL fan, NFL fan, I messaged him telling him it happened. He's like, "Bro, like George Pickens is gonna pick a fight with DK Metcalf, and he's gonna get absolutely
exactly." I mean, to be fair, George Pickens is not a solid sized dude. We're talking 6'3", DK 6'4", but way
he
thicker.
Is wham. I think a lot of people may have seen the photos without realizing it's him, with him looking absolutely wham in like that gym photo from like years ago, and you're like,
tough,
and he's quick as well. It's just. But, he's not the only player from Seattle who's moved. There's massive changes.
Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders. He's back with Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, the long-time Seahawks coach who led them to Super Bowl glory. But there's going to be a lot more to talk about next week, I reckon, with the NFL.
Definitely.
Next month, we've got the NFL draft. I love myself a good draft. This one's going to be very interesting because the quarterback situation is really up in the air. And
it is.
It's probably not the strongest quarterback class in a long time. So it will be really interesting to see what teams take those risks.
It's top heavy.
It's very top heavy. There's only maybe a handful of quarterbacks who will get drafted at all within 7 rounds.
It's going to be interesting, and that's the thing with the Steelers. So the Steelers definitely need another wide receiver. That's facts. You've got that now, although the Steelers love getting really good wide receiver or great wide receivers that have attitude problems. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but we do.
Antonio Brown, hello.
Yeah, we can blame Vontaze Burfict for that, supposedly.
Supposedly.
I'm going to throw that there, but look, the Steelers have a wide receiver. That's cool. I think the Steelers still need stuff to become that next level of contender, because look, the Steelers for the last 8 years have probably gotten into the playoffs, haven't won a playoff game. So Mike Tomlin's going to have to sort that out, coach. But at the same time, DK Metcalf, having him there is awesome. It is really awesome. But at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We still need a quarterback. I hope we re-sign Justin Fields. But I think we should move on to the Champions League, which was our big thing. Yeah,
well, before that, we're going to quickly do a Premier League recap, and we are running a bit thin for time, so I think our segment this week will be our bracket. It'll be our bracket. It'll be the bracket. The bracket, which we'll explain later.
Yes, sir.
So brief Premier League recap. Nottingham Forest did the job. Chris Wood didn't score, but they beat Man City 1-0 to retain third place in the Premier League. They are 2 points ahead of now Chelsea, who bet your beloved Leicester City.
Yeah, thanks.
And City have dropped down
to
fifth
down
as a result. So a big win for Forest as they try to claim a Champions League spot for next season, which we all want to happen, because Chris Wood playing Champions League football, I'm obsessed.
They're Leicester's main rival. I'm still going to keep saying it. I would love to see them in Champions League.
Yeah, I think as a Kiwi, you kind of have to go, I want Chris Wood to be playing in the Champions League. Yeah. He's been playing so well. Other results, Liverpool beat Southampton, and Arsenal dropped points again, this time away to Man United. Liverpool are 15 points ahead with a game in hand, or Arsenal have a game in hand on Liverpool, but they're 15 points clear. That's, such a big margin. The game in hand doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then other results, the likes of Brighton, Villa, Bournemouth, Newcastle, all still pushing for Europe. Brighton are only a point behind Man City in 6th. Bournemouth and Newcastle are only 2 points behind Brighton, and they're 8th and 9th, so it's really close. And then Wolves got a crucial point against Everton. They're 6 points clear of the bottom 3. So I think that bottom 3 is pretty much already, set in stone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton.
I hate it. I
He hates
absolutely
it.
hate it.
There's still one more game this match day. West Ham host Newcastle tomorrow morning. And then next weekend, important games. Man City host Brighton. This could be a big game for Brighton if they pull off an upset.
That's true.
Evan Arsenal, host Chelsea. And bloody hell, the camera's already dying as we move into the bracket.
But we're going to get into the bracket anyway.
The Champions League bracket.
The Champions League bracket.
The Champions League has been going on for the entire European football season, but we're up to the round of 16, and the first league results at the round of 16 were last week. But Dylan decided we're still going to do a bracket, which I agree with is a bit of fun.
And it's our podcast.
So,
what you going to do? No.
The results for those who are unaware: Aston Villa bet Club Brugge 3-1, Real Madrid bet Atletico Madrid 2-1, Arsenal bet PSV 7-1, Lille bet drew with Dortmund 1-1, Inter bet Feyenoord 2-0, Barcelona with a man down bet Benfica 1-0, Liverpool somehow bet PSG 1-0, and Bayern Munich bet Bayer Leverkusen 3-0. So with the Champions League now, there's a full-on bracket system at this point,
man.
So we know every team's potential routes to the final, and we're going to start off with predicting who's going to go through in the next round, next leg of round of 16 games.
Yeah, man.
And then predict the quarters, the semis, the finals. Do you want to go first?
So I'm going to go first. We might as well go. You'll get what I mean, matchup by matchup. So you've got Arsenal and PSV. I think Arsenal are now taking that out.
Yeah, and I'm going to go directly after you with my predictions as well. Arsenal are clearly going through that ahead by 6 goals.
Yeah.
No one's catching
I don't think that's being caught unless PSV pull off something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, the Madrid derby.
Yes.
Oh man, I want Atletico to win that, but I think Real are pulling it.
I'm the same as you. Real Madrid are winning that one. Atletico dropped the game in La Liga on the weekend. Real Madrid are still on fairly good form. Yeah, I think Madrid will take it home.
Yeah. All right. Got to go to the next ones. Liverpool and PSG.
Tough.
I'm not. There's a little bit of. I say a little bit of bias here. I'm still going with Liverpool, man.
Yeah. I think they'll edge it. They managed to overcome PSG, who were just on their ass in the last game.
And a lot of my bosses at work are massive Liverpool fans too.
Yeah.
So if I said PSG, they'll probably kill me when I get there.
Yeah.
So, but no, I do genuinely think Liverpool are pulling this off.
I'm in the same boat. I think Liverpool will pull it off and in the next game, I'll take the lead for this one.
Go for it,
I think Aston Villa still hold up against Club Brugge.
I agree.
Move into the next round.
I agree.
I think that's pretty
a little
obvious.
Premier League matchup there.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to lead us in the next one then?
I sure can. Barcelona, Benfica. You know what? Barcelona, I think they'll edge it out again. They managed to beat them in Portugal, I believe, with a red card fairly early in the game. So I feel like they'll still have a lot to give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going Barcelona.
Yeah, fair enough.
Barcelona, and they're also still top of the La Liga.
They still are. Unfortunately, their last game has been postponed because their chief doctor suddenly passed away. So obviously, we give our hearts out.
Rest in peace, rest in love, man.
To everyone at Barcelona and family of the guy.
Like
no one really wants to have to go through that. And completely understandable. Barca's game got postponed.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, the next matchup,
Dortmund-Lille.
Now this, I want to hear your answer first.
This is a toss-up in my opinion. It was 1-1 the first game. I love Dortmund usually, but you know what? There has to be one kind of upset. You know what?
So you doing it?
I'll pick Lille.
My man. So did I.
Yeah,
I think that too.
My parents actually were in Lille last year, so a little bit of another reason to.
Another little connection
to pick
there.
Lille.
Yeah, Lille, man. I think Lille will end up with that one.
And then German derby, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern Munich, I'm sorry, they won 3-0 first leg. I'd love Leverkusen to go through, but I don't think they're keeping up with that one.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
What? The camera died.
I know, the camera did die, so you probably see technical difficulties up the whole time on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we're still going to say it anyway.
It's fine. There's not long left. Don't worry, guys. You're almost at the end.
But at the same time, Stuff all that. I've got my bias to my favourite German team. Leverkusen is pulling a 4-0 win, and Leverkusen is going through.
4-0, not even like a 3-0 go to extra time penalty win. You're predicting 4-0.
I'm going to say it anyway because I'm going with the bias. So I'm going with Leverkusen on that one. And then Inter and Feyenoord, I think Inter are winning
Inter. I love Dutch teams doing well, but it's got to be Inter.
All right. So our next round matchups for both of us would be Arsenal, Real Madrid.
This is a tough one. Arsenal are second in the Premier League. Real Madrid are second in La Liga. Real Madrid probably have a lot more star power than Arsenal. So I'd love to give Arsenal the win here, but I unfortunately think that this is probably Real Madrid's to lose. They might even drop the first leg or the second leg, but I think and I have friends who are Arsenal fans who are going to be very pissed off with me saying this, but I think Real Madrid gets this one. As much as, because I kind of hate Madrid doing well in the Champions League, because they always do well in the Champions League.
True.
But
this is true.
I think, it's going to be Real Madrid.
Yeah, I said Real Madrid was winning that too.
Yeah.
And then we both had the same matchup here as well, Liverpool, Aston Villa. I would love to see Aston Villa upset Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going through.
Yeah, I think this one might be pretty easy for Liverpool. I have a feeling if this is the draw, then Liverpool will, just waltz it. They play Aston Villa twice a year in the Premier League regardless.
Yeah.
I think they'll just have too much. And then our next tie, both of us win Barcelona-Lille.
Yep.
And I think Barcelona will...
I'd love to see an upset.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I win with Barcelona as well.
Barcelona are a very good team. Rafinha's one of the on-form players in the world, which is crazy to say. But, yeah. And then
this is where our matchup is different.
Leagues. I've got Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. You have Bayer Leverkusen versus Inter Milan.
Who are you going with?
I am going with Bayern Munich.
Ooh, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I'm going with Bayern.
That's fair.
And you are going with...
And in my matchup, guess what?
Oh,
guess what?
What have you done?
Guess what? The bias keeps going. Let's go. Leverkusen beating Inter. It's going to be 7-0.
7-0?
I'm just playing. But I'm keeping the bias going. I'm Leverkusen pulling off upset after upset. They're going through over Inter. Because it's my bracket.
It is your bracket.
Yeah.
But moving on to the semis, we have the same semi.
Liverpool, Real Madrid.
Yeah, Liverpool, Real Madrid.
Who you got?
This is tough.
This is really tough. This one was tough.
This one goes all the way, I reckon.
I agree.
You see, I could pick a Real Madrid win here for the culture. So we get
for the culture.
So we get a Real Madrid Barcelona final and the Champions League. Oh my days, that would be amazing. But I think Liverpool will sneak this one. I feel like they'll beat Real Madrid at the stage of the comp after losing to them in a couple finals. I think they'll get them when they're not expecting it. And I think Liverpool will just take it.
I have said the same thing. I think it'll be extremely close. I think Liverpool take it out.
I think it might even be one of those ties where everyone's like, how did Real Madrid not win that? I think it'll be one of those circumstances where Liverpool somehow overcome it all. And then we've got two different... we've got a different semi-final for the second one.
So you've got Bayern Barcelona.
I've got Bayern Barcelona.
And I've got my guys, the work south, Leverkusen and Barcelona. Well, I want to hear your one first.
Barcelona, Bayern. I think Barcelona's been a lot better. I think they have a lot better team, even though Bayern's doing a lot better domestically. I think Bayern are a bit more prone these days to some of those weird moments and mishaps and not really knowing what they're doing in certain situations. A couple of years ago, it was Barcelona in that matchup. Remember, they lost 8-2 to Bayern in the Champions League.
That's true.
But I think Barcelona will overcome it. And Dylan, does your bias reign supreme?
Does my bias reign supreme in a Leverkusen versus Barcelona matchup? It does not. I think Barcelona would win that one.
So we have both predicted the same final.
Yeah, just in a different way.
Just in a different way. So Liverpool, Barcelona at this stage of the season.
Yeah.
Who do we think wins this? This will be an awesome game, I hope.
I think it'll be a fantastic game.
And I
have a feeling we're going to have... Who you got? This is tough.
It's tough. It's really tough. I think Mo Salah gets one final Champions League as a swan song.
Okay.
I think it's a swan song. He leaves Liverpool.
Okay.
He goes to Saudi Arabia or wherever he goes. Might decide to go to MLS. Might decide to go somewhere else.
That's true.
But I think this is his swan song. I reckon he just takes it to everyone. He's the player of the match. He's unbeatable. I reckon he just has the game of his life to bring back another Champions League, where he's clearly the main guy on that Liverpool side. And I think
he's showing it this season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I think Barcelona are going to come so close. And I love Barcelona, but yeah, and I'm not a Liverpool fan by the slightest. Yeah, I think Liverpool take it.
Well, guess what?
Have you gone Visca Basca?
We're going to disagree. I have gone with Visca Basca.
I've
gone with Barcelona.
Fair enough.
I have said a little prediction like you have.
Ooh.
And I'm going to throw it out there because, like I said, like you've said, this game is going to be close.
It's going to be very
close. If it ends up being this, it's going to be really, really close.
Yeah.
But I actually think that it is going to be a Liverpool player that costs them the game.
Ooh.
I have a feeling it's going to be a 1-0, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And guess who's going to cost them?
Who?
Trent.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Arnold.
You're going to say Trent.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, and I've had multiple discussions with my bosses who are Liverpool fans at work.
Yeah.
TAA Batteries is...
Great name.
He's a tweener.
As
a football player, he's a tweener. And yes, he plays right back. And attacking, he is fantastic.
Yes.
But there is multiple times you watch him and his defensive effort is not there.
It just doesn't match what is needed.
And I think in the biggest moment, I think that may cost Liverpool.
Yeah, I kind of hope not.
And that's why I said Barcelona.
He's helped them to Champions League glory before. He's played well for so many years, but you know what? You could be onto something there. That could be a genuine thing which happens, and I think a lot of people would actually agree that it's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I can't wait till the end of the Champions League. The second league kicks off on Wednesday, so we'll know if our predictions do come true.
Come on, the Leverkusen. Come on, make my bracket right.
Should I come up with a bet if they actually... What should I do? What should be...
No.
I think
you're a big... See, here's the thing. You're a big fantasy
I think I have
guy.
to put something on the line if they do win 4-0, just to make it entertaining. Like, I have to wear something, or I have to say something on the next podcast, or I have to do something.
What is it, my man? What are you going to do?
If Leverkusen...
I've got something.
Okay.
I've got something.
Yeah.
Because I don't want this to be... Because I'm... You know me. I'm not a fantasy guy in terms of fantasy league, fantasy NBA. I hate betting like that, but I will say this. If Leverkusen win this next leg 4-0, you have to buy me an official piece of Leverkusen merch.
Okay.
No matter what it is. It could be a keychain. I don't care.
Yeah.
What should be the cheapest thing you can get?
Get a mug.
Yeah. To be fair,
just get a mug with...
I got my boss's Liverpool mugs.
Fair.
For the end of the year, for Christmas.
Get a mug with Florian Wirtz's face on it.
There you go, say less.
Yeah. But it's all like stretched out.
No, you just put it on there with blue tack.
Yeah. It's just printed off black and white.
How about we do that?
Yeah.
Say less.
Well, do you want to do 4-0 or just they beat Bayern? They get through.
No.
Because I feel like 4-0 is too specific, because what if they win 5-1? You're going to feel like a dumbass.
No, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with 4-0.
Because if Leverkusen go through, Leverkusen go through.
You guys can't see it because the camera died, but we're shaking hands.
We're shaking hands.
But
I love that we ended on that. That's awesome.
All good.
That's great.
Well, I think we'll call it there because the camera's been dead for quite some time now.
It certainly has.
Although if you're listening on Spotify, it does not matter.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But thank you so much for tuning in and listening anyway, whether it was on Spotify or YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at CouchSide.network. And at the same time, click the link in the bio, and that'll have all of our socials there. Go follow us. We do have videos up on TikTok.
We do. Thank you, Dylan.
So, no problem, sir. We have videos on TikTok.
And we do have YouTube Shorts. Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah, say less.
Say less.
So go and follow us, subscribe, whatever on there, because we're going to keep coming. Oh, that's pause. We're going to keep rolling through with talking about sport, because what we love to do.
It is. Good old yarn.
And hopefully we can create a great community here where it's just talking about sport. No other bullcrap to come along with it. Just talking about sport and having fun. And that's what we do.
S-P-O-R-T-S, sports.
Well done.
Thank you.
But also TAA Batteries, that's his name from now on.
Yeah, great nickname, mate.
But yeah, Simon, thank you very much, my man.
You, Don.
And as our new sign out,
Oh, yeah.
CouchSide out.
CouchSide out.